Welcome to KDRTV, Governor Kimemia. We are pretty happy that you made it to America. And what really brings you to America?
We came to America as governors from Kenya to do what you call peer learning, to learn best practices from the United States. As you know, we have worked very closely with the United States. So this will be a very good economy to benchmark with, to look at their best practice, to see what they do best, how they conduct their businesses, how they motivate enterprise, and how they also manage their democracy. And then as a governor, how do you leverage the 21st century? What is it that you can do as a Kenyan governor and stand up in the 21st century? I think that becomes very important for us because the world is competing and the world has become a global village. So if you work alone in Nyandarua, in a small village, not knowing what the external, the global community is thinking about your products, our potatoes, our livestock, our milk, our dairy, our youth, how to create jobs, how to create entrepreneurship. If you just sit alone in the village in Nyandarua County or in Kenya, then you'll be out of step with the rest of the world. I think we are all competing in the global landscape, and this is why we came here, to see how America, which is one of the champions in democracy and in development, in the international plane, how they do their things and what can we take home. And also they're also learning from us how best they can also manage their issues.
So Governor, thank you very much. I didn't tell you my name is Omweri. So I really want you to tell us exactly what experience you've seen in the few days you've been in America.
I think there are a couple of lessons that I picked from here, and one of them is the whole question of introducing apprenticeship. The skilling norms that you can have kids in secondary school already being attached into industry, and then you're already driving the job market. That the kids in secondary school already start appreciating what they can do best when they join the labor market, then connecting industry with the universities, with colleges, motivating our polytechnics to produce demand-driven courses and labor. I think that came out very well, and rethinking the job market and creation of jobs in the 21st century through innovation, through creativity, through science, through technology, and through creating scientific cultures in our country. You know, we have been very low on sciences. Just about 40% of our students you find are into sciences. The rest are in the humanities. I think that's an issue that we need to rethink as governors, going back to becoming techno-savvy. I think that becomes very important. I think the second issue is the whole question of competitiveness. How to become competitive, how to think globally as a county, even within the local circumstances, but thinking globally and competing at that level and producing products that can compete in the international market, but still creating an enabling regulatory framework, policy framework, legal framework that will enable business to thrive, but you also compete with standards. So we become governors who are driven by standards, not just doing things for the sake of doing things, business as usual. I think that's what we are being told. We can't do business as usual. You have to move out and compete in science, in arts, in culture, in technology. I think that is what came out very, very clearly. I think the other issue was the whole question of reforming the business environment. To be able to partner with the rest of the world, we need to rethink how we create our businesses, how we formulate our strategies, the structures of government, the cultures that we create in the environment, the ease of doing business. These are things that we need to work out very, very clearly with the rest of the world. And I think lastly, which came out very, very, very interesting, rethinking the ECD, the early childhood development. We were told that the girl's brain develops at age 4, and the boy's brain at age 5. And therefore, if we ignore the ECD as a country, we are lost. It will not matter what you do. We have to refocus the ECD as a national government and as a county government. And I think lastly, what came out in the last session, very, very interesting, the issue of parks, recreation, wellness. Like for me, how would I make Aberdares a place Kenyans can come in and reflect, enjoy the environment, do sport fishing, do boating in the Lake of Brosat, making the environment part and parcel of our economic landscape and commercializing the environmental landscape, even as we absorb credits, in economies. I think those are so far. Those are points that I've taken from here, and I think it's very, very important. The link between culture and strategy and innovation and sciences and competing in the global market, making our products competitive by adopting standards and going for results.
Thank you very much.
I think that came out very clearly.
Thank you. The other thing is about the diaspora. Yes. We have very many Kenyans living in North America, yes, in Europe, yes, and they are watching this program. Yes. What do you like to tell them, especially if they want to invest in Nyandarua? What are the opportunities, yes, which we have in Nyandarua?
I would tell our diaspora here to not be shy, and we shall be fronting a paper. I will be moving a paper in the COG that we create a special platform for our diaspora. So that when they come, because they come on very short vacations and they would want to invest, that we don't complicate things for them. We give them preference, fast track them, put them on a fast lane. In Nyandarua, I would like them to team up with, say, states like Nevada. I've already teamed up with the governor from Nevada. I'm looking for the governor from Idaho. These are potato growing governors from Minnesota. We already formed alliances with these 3 governors. And I'll be looking for others who can possibly look at the energy, the wind energy in Kinangop, see whether we can, the diaspora here can then become the link. Then they will bring these investors into Kenya, then come to Nyandarua County. We work out with them, agree on MOUs and contracts, and we start business. Because time is not on our side, and there is sense of urgency. So our diaspora must be the investors, the frontiers of investments, because they understand the Americans well. They know the culture well. They know the thinking of the Americans better than us. So they will be the front, what you call the front runners, bringing them as agents. Not necessarily negative brokers, but positive brokers. Come, discuss with us. We will agree on how to process our potatoes, our vegetables, and move the economies forward. This is what I think the diaspora has to do. Then, of course, the diaspora must run. They must also go back to universities. I know there is a problem of people not wanting to, because the life here is sweeter. They must go to college. They must get degrees, get their masters. Some should go into research. We are very low on research and development. You have seen these people are still researching the space, as we are not even researching potatoes. So I would like to urge them to educate their children and make sure that their children are brought home and that they remain Kenyans and that they think Kenya as they think America and invest in Kenya. And for us governors is to create the environment for the diaspora, a special environment with affirmative action for the diaspora to be able to come and do business very quickly and fast track licenses for them when they come for investments.
Thank you. You worked for the, let me say, the general government for a couple of years before you became a governor. You've seen the way the security situation is here. You are really taken well care of. What would you like to advise the security agents, especially back in Kenya?
I think one thing I would like to assure you that our security agents in Kenya are very well trained. The first group, when we had a terror attack and terror threats in our country, the first place I brought the security forces to train was in this city, this New Mexico, at a place in Abakwekwe, New Mexico. I can't remember where the college is, but within this same place in Santa Fe. And they were trained very well on disaster management, on emergency management, on counterterrorism. So I think what we need to do is to operationalize the skills. Because some trained in America, others went to Israel, others went to Europe, to UK and other countries. I think the issue is to operationalize the skills that we got from this country. I believe we have the most trained, some of the best trained security officers in our country. But of course, they are much more capable here. The technology here is more competent. You can see all the streets on CCTV. They have drones, all over the place. You can't see them, and they have a lot of virtual security. In this conference, I can assure you, possibly a quarter of them are security people, and very, very. You think they know what they are doing, but they are very, very, very alert. So we would like also to bring our people here to learn how to secure conferences like this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bwana Governor. Do you have any closing remark? I think the closing remarks is to assure Kenyans that we didn't come here just to see America. We came here to learn from America, and we take good things, particularly on the 4 agendas, on the 4 pillars that the president has: the issue of processing,
Like as I've said, potatoes in Kenya, milk in Kenya. I'm looking at the sugar beets. There are governors here who are doing sugar beets. We are in cooperation with them. We're looking at bamboo. I was in China to see how we can also develop bamboo in county, and also infrastructure development in energy, in transport, in oil, in minerals. These are things that we are discussing with the governors here, either as the chairman of energy and infrastructure. So that we take good things to Kenya, and above all, take technology, the best technology that can be applied in our country. We would like to take this back to our country. So we are here not to just see America, but to take good things and good practices back to Kenya, and also strengthen our COG to be as effective as the COG of this country.
Thank you very much, Bwana Governor.